Hey ladies and gentlemen, Simon here with episode number 42 of Naruto, here to watch with you, moving on from the last episode which saw the next fight in the preliminary test, I guess you would call it, kind of the preliminary round to the third, and what I presume is going to be the final stage of the Chunin exam, and it pitted, ironically enough, as I'd asked for it earlier in the episode, because we had that little interaction between Sakura and Ino, it pitted those two against each other. And it wasn't so much that we got to see, a brilliant spectacle of, chakra and abilities. It was a pretty bare bones fist fight that was intermingled with a lot of history, a lot of flashbacks. Again, sort of referencing back to Sakura and Ino's previous friendship and their closeness, and how, Sakura really felt second to Ino. I can appreciate where she's coming from. I've felt, when you are friends with someone or you are around someone who seems to be perfect at everything, or just doesn't do anything wrong. They have the good looks, they have, the skills, the abilities, and you kind of question yourself. You start to feel a bit inferior. I do appreciate and sympathize where she's coming from. However, she obviously went about dealing with those feelings in the way that she did, in terms of, breaking the friendship off with Ino, and now there's a very interesting rivalry there. I read in the comments of the last episode, some of you think that it's not necessarily that they're not friends anymore, they're just competitive. And I don't know, I find it hard to believe that, I'm not saying they won't be friends again. That's absolutely possible that, this fight or somewhere further down the line, their experiences might unite them in friendship once more. But I feel like, especially with it being such a long time, it's been a few years at least since they were close friends, and the animosity that seems to have built up between them, and the competitiveness that's built up between them, it's hard to really say that they're friends so much. I wouldn't call them enemies. I think rivals would be a good word, because a rival isn't always necessarily someone who that person hates. It's just someone that they see as a competitor, someone to either match or go beyond. So I think that's a pretty good word to use when it comes to Sakura and Ino. Other than that, I don't know what to expect from the episode. I'm kind of hoping we do get a conclusion to it. I'm hoping that, because the flashback stuff has been good to see, and it's nice to get a bit more background on Sakura, though I kind of would like more background for her in terms of something that isn't Ino related. Like, where is she from? What happened to her parents? Like, what motivated her to become, a shonen? We've not really been given full answers to all of that, at least not that I can remember. I might be forgetting, but not that I can remember anyway. So, we'll jump in and see. Now, before we do, I want to say a big thank you to my Patreon super supporters, Frank Tremel, Karen Abel, Nick Walters, The Seven Deadly Sins, Damon Smallwood, Michael Y, Mr. Greg 89, Tyrone Tyrone, Pobinhas, Matt Okeefe, Sophie Leske, and Olly Brown. So, without further ado, let's jump in and let's watch another episode of Naruto.
Ultimate battle!
Cha! Cha-cha-cha. Right. So this is being advertised as the ultimate battle. Now, if this is not ultimate, I'm going to be disappointed.
Do you really think you can beat me with a basic ninja arm like that?
We're finally getting some abilities. I don't think I've ever seen Sakura use that jutsu before.
Send chakra to my feet for a burst of speed. And then... What?
Nice. The one on the ground was the one that actually hit her. I like it. I like it.
Not like I needed
She's got a bit of fire to her now, which is always nice.
You're not gonna like it.
But she's always had good control of her chakra. Yeah. Yes, exactly what I said. Thank you. They caught each other's punches. Here we go. It's like their styles are almost exactly the same. Oh, double knockout blow? What if they knock each other out at the same time? Would they both go through or both get eliminated? Oh, she's going to cut her hair as well. What? Is this yet another symbolic gesture? Oh boy. She looks so smug and satisfied. To what? Does she have some kind of... Oh, she's going to mind transfer.
I knew I recognized it. It's the mind transfer jutsu sign. Oh man.
She could... She leaves her body completely exposed though.
I know you're frustrated, and it moves at a very slow speed.
So, if she steps...
Energy misses the enemy, it can't return to the user's own body for several minutes. And this
So if she misses, game over.
Ino, using that jutsu here wouldn't just be a bad idea.
It'd be...
Fatal mistake.
Yeah.
It's a powerful jutsu, but as long
Though I don't see Sakura actually killing her.
as threat,
She would just knock her out.
she can avoid it, she can attack Ino without any resistance.
Mind transfer jutsu!
Hold on, no. She's doing it to the ref. What if she did it to the ref? And the ref's going to declare victory for
Did it work?
Ino. Oh. What's that?
You fell for it, Sakura.
She wasn't using it at all.
I finally caught you.
These fights are always so back and forward.
I can take over your body and make you say that you're giving up on this match.
It's like, now we think that Ino's definitely going to win, but...
I'll never miss with this jutsu now.
Well, now you've said that, you are going to miss.
I'm afraid so. Sakura's spirit has been completely taken over by Ino.
But what if it hasn't? What if she can fight against it?
Spirit is inside of Sakura now.
Sakura Haruno would like to say,
It's not going to be what we think.
I with no! Sakura, don't! Ugh. Man, that kid's just so annoying.
She said that out loud.
Don't disgrace yourself now by losing to that lame Ino girl! This can't be happening!
You could say Sakura's showing real spirit.
Withdrawing? Well, are you or not?
Yeah? Holy shit, spirit fight! In the brain.
Which one is it?
It's her inner monologue. It's her inner monologue that's fighting back.
You're gonna be in way bigger trouble than you've ever seen if you don't.
We've seen it so many times.
What's up with Ino?
That's a pretty cool thing, I'll admit. That's a pretty cool visualization. There she goes. It's going to take a while for her to recover as well, so that means Sakura can hopefully get the win.
You have two spirits in you. Just what are you anyway?
Schizophrenic.
Someone who's just as strong as she is beautiful. I mean, a girl's gotta be tough if she's gonna survive something like this.
Allowing her to cast Ino out. Just like I've seen in Naruto.
I told you, his
Stronger than the others.
annoying nature
Obstacles
helped
otherwise would be
Sakura defeat Ino. They're going to knock each other out. I don't think anyone's going to win.
Right now!
Kaboom. Kaboom, yep. Both of their headbands get knocked off. And they both knock each other out. But wouldn't that mean they technically both lose, if that is the case?
They'll probably just wake up after a little while.
It's the most wholesome ending to a fight we'll ever get on Naruto, I think.
Certainly put up a great fight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't quite call it an ultimate fight,
Success
but
Naruto and Sasuke.
was pretty good.
Sakura.
Who's next? We're just moving on from it like that. Is it going to be Naruto finally?
This should be interesting to watch.
So it's another girl-on-girl fight. We know what those two can do, but we don't know what she can do. The sister. So, more than just mutual respect being earned, maybe a bit of friendship again.
I won't just hand over Sasuke to you, understand, Sakura?
So who won?
Oh yeah, well that goes double for you, Ino, you ugly pig!
Wow. And just like that, we're back to the way things were.
For the 5th match.
Okay, so, interesting. I had to contend with, that whole episode I had to contend with a certain cat laying down right in front of my keyboard and just providing me with a distraction. You might see here. Zuko. Oi. You can see him. Zuko, look. Look up. Look behind you. Want to say hello to everyone? There you go. Say hello. Yeah. So he settled down, which he doesn't normally do, in front of my keyboard. So I was half distracted between, petting him and watching the episode. But it wasn't quite an ultimate battle. But it was a pretty good battle. It was different. It was definitely more of a fight that suited Ino and Sakura and the issues that they were having, It wasn't ever going to be about who was, who had more chakra or who had more power. It was about, endurance. It was about, overcoming insecurities and overcoming the kind of childish desire to, prove yourself to the other person. Sakura, certainly, one thing I did like about this was the fact that when Ino took over her body, the fight that they had internally, it was characterized by her, internal monologue that we'd seen quite a few times now. Whenever Sakura has this moment where she's arguing in her own mind, you'll see the little other Sakura pop out and start screaming and yelling. And I always just imagine that was her own subconscious, fighting against her and, trying to keep her on track. And so for them to use that as her, internal monologue and then also to use it during this battle was very clever. It was very clever indeed. And I guess I could have said beforehand, if you'd have asked me who was going to win, I'd probably said there may be a draw. Neither of them might win. And neither of them seem to have a killer instinct. Neither of them seem to be super skilled at the combat side of things. But, we've seen that they are very good at different things. So, for example, Ino has her mind transfer ability, but she's also very clever at her tactical planning. She trapped, Sakura with her hair. Sakura has brilliant chakra control. Oh, here's Zuko now. He's up and away. Bye. Thanks for joining me. And she also is spirited. I made the joke that, you could say Sakura has a great spirit, when she was fighting back, and it was a pun. It was just a pun, but it is true. She is very clever and she's very strong and spirited that way. So far from it being the best fight in the world, it certainly was very meaningful. And for these two, it was a very well put together fight. So I'm still not entirely certain whether they both go through or not, which seems a bit unfair if they both go through, but who's going to argue the semantics of it? But up next, we have Tenten and Tamari. Now, to be honest, I don't know much about either of these competitors. Obviously, Tamari, we've seen a little bit of her and her brothers from the Sand Village. We know what her brothers can do. We don't really know what she can do. Tenten, she's really not featured very heavily at all. It's to the point where I don't even think I've written down her name before. I might have done at some point, but can't see it. No, I have not written down her name before, so there is a possibility that this is the first time that either it's mentioned or that she's really gotten enough focus. No, I have. Episode 33, I wrote down her name, so she must have done something back then. I don't remember what that was. But should be an interesting fight. Now, I'm going to go on a limb and say I can't see, Tamari losing, because we've already seen what Gara and her brother can do. So I get the feeling that she's going to be pretty powerful too. So anyway, we'll have to come back and find out what happens next. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you for the next episode.